Hi, I'm Artis Wodehouse, and I'm here actually in Washington, D.C., at the Library of Congress, and specifically the Madison Building, which houses the Music Reading Room, which is the most amazing resource for researchers in music, particularly American music, where the holdings are probably the greatest in the country. The reason I'm here this time is because I'm working on the music of Arthur Byrd. And I started here looking for Arthur Byrd's music in the early 2000s. And this happened when I had acquired an SD Model Z reed organ, a magnificent big reed organ with, I believe, 16 stops. And I was looking for music written by anyone, literally, for the American reed organ that I could find, and this was the place, of course, to come. And I found here the published works of Arthur Byrd for what was called the American Harmonium. And I was ecstatic because they looked wonderful and meaty. And I brought them back, and they were wonderful and meaty still, but they weren't precisely for the SD Artis Model Z, because the Artis Model Z by SD had a different split point and different stop list than what Arthur Byrd had wanted for his music. And that becomes quite specific because his use of the tonal resources of the instrument that he was using was very refined and very specific. So that led me on a quest to find the Model 86K that I currently own, that I'm going to use for my Arthur Byrd recording in September. Now, as my previous videos show, this Model 86K has a very specific stop list with a split point, and this was called the normal harmonium, and this was the instrument for which Arthur Byrd wrote. So you really had to have that instrument, and the scores are very, very careful about what he wants you to use, which stop and changing and so forth. So anyway, there are quite a number of these wonderful pieces. I believe 23 or 24 of them total, starting in Opus 37 and going into the Opus 40, I think it's Opus 45. And over the years, from roughly 2004 to 2014, 2014, I learned all the music and performed in various concerts. So I figured this year, 2015, I would sit down and record them all. And coming back to the Library of Congress again, just a few weeks ago, I wanted to make sure that I had all the music and that I didn't miss anything. And I found out, there is more there, of course. And what happened was one of the librarian catalogs named James Wentley took it upon himself to find all the Arthur Byrd materials, particularly, of course, the unpublished materials, the manuscripts. And they had been cataloged, but they were in different places in the library. And he felt that putting them together into one source would make it easier for researchers such as myself to deal with the materials. And he did this roughly in 2013, unbeknownst to me. And here it is. It's a typescript, and it's 8 boxes worth of materials. And so here in May 2015, I go, oh, wow, this is great. Let's see if there's anything in here that I need to know about. And yes, there was. What happened was that Arthur Byrd, as I had known pretty much, but these boxes of unpublished manuscripts really show he was very interested and involved in contrapuntal music, this very highly refined style of multi-voice, things like Bach, that he wrote many pieces in this style, and from orchestral works to string quartets. Well, of course, what happened? He also wrote 2 wonderful preludes and fugues for the American Harmonium that were not published, that are in this very massive, very extraordinarily highly refined style that is not characteristic of the pieces that were published that I had already known. Of course, the other pieces the pieces that were published had a lot of counterpoint, yes, but they were really salon pieces. They are lighter, more atmospheric, but these are the heavy-duty stuff. You'd think that Bach had written them, and they're wonderful on my instruments. So Thank you, Library of Congress. Thank you, Music Reading Room. Thanks to James. We are going to be able to hear these things probably for the first time in their life history. So that's the story of the Library of Congress so far.